1987 Philippine Constitution. History. President Corazon C. Aquino or Cory Aquino, the 11th President of the Republic of the Philippines, has proclaimed the Proclamation Number 3, the freedom of Constitution, and some of the law implemented in 1973's Constitution are being suspended. She also proclaimed the Proclamation Number 9 as 1986. It was held on April 23, 1986, changing the 1973 Constitution by writing a new one and by appointed 50 CONCOM members representing the various sector of the society from politics to the arts and religion.
So what happened on October 2 of 1986? It was the approval by the 1986 Constitutional Commission, and by October 15 of the same year, the draft was presented to the President, who was President Corazon C. Aquino. So after working for 133 days, by Feb 2, 1987, the national plebiscite happened with the 48 members of the Constitutional Commission for the approval of the Constitution. So by Feb 11 of 1987, by the virtue Proclamation Number 58, the official announcing of the effectiveness of the 1987 Constitution happened, which gave hope and stand as a new beginning for the people.
Philippines Constitutional Commission of 1986 was the Constitutional Convention tasked with drafting a present iteration for Constitution of the Philippines in 1986 under the leadership of Cecilia Muñoz Palma as President, Ambrosio B. Padilla as Vice President, Napoleon G. Rama as Floor Leader, Jose Calderon as Assistant Floor Leader, Amado Macau Alonto as Assistant Floor Leader, and Florida Ruth Pineda Romero as Secretary General.
Hello everyone, I am here to discuss to you the important features of the Philippine Constitution of 1987. First, we have Article 1, which is national territory. It states, the national territory comprises the Philippine archipelago with all the islands and waters embraced therein, and all other territories over which the Philippines has sovereignty or jurisdiction consisting of its terrestrial, fluvial, and aerial domains, including its territorial sea, the seabed, the subsoil, the insular shelves, and other submarine areas. The waters around, between, and connecting the islands of the archipelago, regardless of their breadth and dimensions, form part of the internal waters of the Philippines. The 1987 Constitution introduces a modified definition of the national territory with the deletion of the reference to territory claimed by legal or historical title. The deleted phrase was perceived as dropping the Philippine territorial claim over Sabah. The 1987 Constitution defines the national territory as comprising the Philippine archipelago, the archipelagic waters, and all other territories over which the Philippines has sovereignty or jurisdiction. Why is it important for the sovereign state to know the extent of the territory? The Constitution, being a municipal law, is binding only within the territorial limits of the Philippine sovereignty. Another important feature of the Philippine Constitution of 1987 are the state policies in Article 2, which are Section 7 until 28. The policies stated must be followed by the country, for each of these policies promotes equality, justice, and peacefulness of the state. These policies would give the state a positive outlook when executed well and shown throughout the state's countrymen. Another important feature of the Philippine Constitution of 1987 is Article 3, Bill of Rights. Article 3 of the Philippine Constitution is the Bill of Rights. It establishes the relationship of the individual to the state and defines the rights of the individual by limiting the lawful powers of the state. It is one of the most important political achievements of the Filipinos. The concept of a Bill of Rights as such is essentially an Occidental product. For a number of centuries in British, French, and American political thought, there has grown the conviction that the rights of the individual must be preserved and safeguarded, not through the authority of an individual, not through membership in a particular group or party, not through reliance upon force of arms, but rather through the accepted process of declared constitutional law. All the sections written in this article are a declaration and enumeration of a person's rights and privileges, which the Constitution is designed to protect against violation by the government or by individuals or groups of individuals. The article is important because it establishes the relationship of an individual to the state and defines the rights of the individual by limiting the lawful powers of the state. Another feature is the Commission on Elections on Article 9. This sector of the Philippine Constitution talks about the enforcing of laws and regulations which are relative to the conduct of elections in the Philippines. This sector must be followed in order for the country to be clean when it comes to elections and that the citizens would have the government they deserve.
Hi guys, I'm Inigo and I'll discuss more about the important features of the 1987 Philippine Constitution. So first is yung Article 11 or Accountability of Public Officers, Section 2. So sa article na ito, masisiguro sa atin yung accountability o kapanagutan ng mga public officials. So kung ang isang opisyal ay may nilabag sa batas o hindi sinunod sa ating Constitution, ito yung magiging guide natin para patalsikin or alisin sila sa katungkulan through impeachment and eventually conviction. Ano nga ba yung mga pwedeng maging dahilan ng pagka-impeach ng isang public official? Sabi sa article na ito, ang paglabag sa Constitution, pagtataksil, pagsusuhol, graft and corruption, mabibigat na krimen, o ang pagkakanulo sa pagtitiwala sa bayan, ang mga maaaring maging dahilan ng pagka-impeach ng isang public official. Isa pang magandang feature ng Constitution na ito ay yung Article 17 or Amendments and Revisions. So, sa article na ito, ginaguide tayo kung paano babaguhin ang isang Constitution o ang saligang batas. So, maybe ang iba sa inyo nagtatanong na, what do changes in the Constitution look like? Ang mga pagbabago sa Constitution may come in the form of amendments or revisions. So the two significantly differ from each other. Ang amendments ay yung mga minor changes or additions na hindi masyadong makaka-apekto sa buong Constitution. Ang maganda example dito is yung planong pagpapasa sa same-sex marriage dito sa ating bansa. Ito ay maganda na rin para mawala na yung mga discrimination at iba pang mga issues regarding sa LGBT community and other minorities. Revision on the other hand ay yung malaking pagbabago talaga sa ating constitution or pwedeng magsulat ng panibagong constitution o saligang batas na hindi mo pwedeng ma-implement nang hindi naaapektuhan yung provisions ng buong constitution. At isang pinaka-relevant na example dito is yung paglipat ng ating bansa sa another type of government such as federalism. Ngayon, sino naman ang mga magpo-propose ng mga changes na ito? So, first is yung sa Congress or tinatawag din itong Constituent Assembly. At dito yung mga senador at yung Kongreso mismo ang mga magbabago kung ano ba yung mga nakasaad sa ating Constitution. Dito kailangan magkaroon ng mga pagboboto and at least 3/4 of all its members ang sumasang-ayon bago maging valid yung mga magiging pagbabago sa ating Constitution. Next is yung Constitutional Convention. Dito, hindi lang basta aamyandahan kundi totally i-revise yung buong Constitution. At tayo yung magbobotohan kung sino ba yung mga mapipili nating magpupulong at bubuo ng mga bagong Constitution. At hindi ito yung mga nakikita lang natin lagi na mga senador, congressman, congresswoman, pero sila pa rin yung mga magde-decide kung kailan ba at kailangan ba talaga natin ng isang constitutional convention sa pamamagitan ng boto nila. kailangan at least 2/3 ang sumasang-ayon para formally magpatawag sila ng isang constitutional convention. At napakahalaga ng malaman natin ang proseso kung paano ba binabago ang isang constitution, because a change in a constitution will drastically change Filipinos' lives.
The important laws from the 1987 Constitution that are mostly used today. Number 1 is the Expanded Bill of Rights from the Article 3, Section 1, which provides, "No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall any person be denied the equal protection of the law." The Expanded Bill of Rights was specifically made to offer protection for human rights and civil rights of the Filipinos as a result of the experiences under the Marcos administration. Second is the separation of the church and the state. As Filipinos were known to be religious and faithful, the concept of a separation of church and state reinforces the legal right of a free people to freely live their faith even in public without fear of government coercion. For instance, the Article 2, Section 6 of the Constitution guarantees the separation of the church and the state. Third is the gender equality and the women's rights. From the Article 2, Section 14, the state recognizes the role of women in nation building and shall ensure the fundamental equality before the law of women and men. Some examples of the laws that were passed regarding this are the Republic Act No. 7322, or an act increasing maternity benefits in favor of women workers in the private sectors, and the Republic Act No. 7600, or the Rooming In and Breastfeeding Act of 1992. Fourth is the right of workers. From the Article 2, Section 18, the state affirms labor as a primary social economic force. It shall protect the rights of workers and promote their welfare. Some other laws that are known today regarding this are the Overseas Workers Investment Fund Act, the Magna Carta of Public Health Workers, and the Domestic Workers Act, also known as the Batas Kasambahay. Lastly is the power of impeachment. From the Article 10 of the Constitution, which provides the mechanism by which officials can be removed from the office through impeachment. One good example of this law is the impeachment of the former President Joseph Estrada in the year 2000 due to the violations of bribery, graft and corruption, betrayal of public trust, and the culpable violations of the Constitution.
Hi, my name is James Gideon Rojas, and today I'll be reporting about the strengths and weaknesses of the 1987 Philippine Constitution. Let's start with the strengths. Firstly, the liberties are protected. You can find it in Article 3, Section 1. Secondly, it avoids elective dictatorship. Thirdly, is that it enables us to have justice and a beautiful life. We can find it in Article 8, Section 1 and 2. Fourth is that it also enables us to know our limitations and the right things we should do in order to become a good citizen. Fifth is that it strengthens national unity as it accommodates economic and cultural differences. You can find it in Article 2. Sixth, it results in better decision-making because the government are easier to supervise. Seventh, it produces more stable government than unitary systems. We can find it in Article 10. But there is nothing perfect in the world. As there are strengths, there will also be weaknesses. And these are that, first, there is corruption. Second is that the citizens' rights are not fully protected. Third is that the maintenance of peace and order will be hard. Fourth, there is slow implementation of programs. And lastly, is that the money isn't easily distributed. That is all for the strengths and weaknesses. Thank you.
On the third bullet, the 1987 Constitution is a hard-written constitution that it cannot be changed without the amendment of the Senate or the Congress. And also, the 1987 Constitution is hard-written constitution that will not easily be changed.
The remaining are, all other laws in the land cannot be passed if the law is not in accordance and does not come from the basis with the basis of the Constitution. And lastly, the 1987 Constitution for the nation is the Bible of the Philippine government.